Three, two, one, zero. Start.
Welcome to the Decoding of Business series with Rafeu. And today, in this episode of the business case, I'll be decoding how a big company makes financial decisions, how the boardroom of finance gets decided, and what happens like when a $900 million, $900 million business takes a financial hit due to a big storm like Katrina. So Gainsborough Machine Corps had been an industry leader in the early 90s, and this is a business case. It's a pretty old business case, but still in this today's day, it holds its relevance on making business decisions, how the investors makes financial decisions in sort of like business, in sort of like startup, in the AI world, and in today's like business cases, how do they actually the boardroom decisions gets made. So we'll be decoding this business series. What are the challenges that a big corporation like a $900 million business faces? Because your business might not be that big. You might not have like that thinking that how the big scale of operation gets managed. What happens when you are not the only player? Every other player is trying to take your pie. Like imagine like this is a like what would be the best scenario for you to imagine. Imagine right now the AI boom is going on. So imagine like a company like OpenAI. They are trying to get into the market, and big businesses like Google, Facebook, all are like competing against each other to win the AI race. And what happens when your business hits like it's a big like milestone. You are about to open something big of an LLM, generative AI, and what happens like when your business takes a hit and your stock price decreases. Like your stock price was here, and after that hit, it decreased by 18%. So that is the case study of today. That's Gainsborough Machine Toolset Corporation and their dividend policy and their strategic recommendation. Like I'll be focusing on the strategy part a lot over here because in the boardroom, it's not about like when a CFO makes decision or the CXOs makes decision. They mainly focus on the strategy, like what are the business decisions that are needs to be taken place for the corporation to grow. Because when a business of $900 million takes a hit, it's the decisions of the board member are very important. Because over there, now the investor wants an exit, they are facing fierce competition from the other market. Imagine like you have a startup, you are about to enter into the market, now you are facing tough competition from OpenAI, Microsoft, Google, and other LLMs. So what would you do? And today's episode will be decoding that. So let's get started. Okay, so let me paint a background of like what is this company. So this is an old company, but at the same time I'll be bringing relevance to this today's world, like what happens in the today's world and how you can relate to this today's scenario so that it makes more sense, right? So Gainsborough Machine Corpser background, it was like it was an industry leader in the machine tools. Imagine like the nuts and bolts, the screwdrivers and things like that. It was in that race. So it was in that race. Now it wants to enter into the market of like CAD or CAM, like similar to Autodesk or Photoshop or tools like that. So imagine a corporation like Microsoft is now entering into the AI race. It already is. So the Google making its Gemini. So these are the races that the old corporation are trying to enter into. And then there is fresh startup like OpenAI who are entering into the market. There is Sora, there is LLMs. So they are like a legacy company now is trying to pivot its business model into a startup. This is the sort of a case we are dealing with today. So this is the sort of case we will be dealing with today. And like the CAD CAM operation, like computer aided design. So they used to make nuts and bolts, and now they want to enter into the CAD CAM industry. And they are going to merge with software firms. So more or less, they are like the old school business, the old machinery heavy business now wants to pivot into a software business. And it's a very good case study for you as well. Like with the emergence of AI, with the emergence of such technology, no matter which business you are in, like AI is going to disrupt it all. So no matter which business you are in, like AI is going to change every single business. Like whether it be sales, whether it be marketing. Right now there are like LLMs or large language sales assistant. If you have a database of customer, you can make a AI sales assistant that can make calls, close sales for you. And even like there are certain tools like which can give coding interview, which can help you assist in such sales interview. So there are tools that are already readily right now, and this AI industry is like changing a lot. So and similar to this case, legacy industry, which is to make nuts and bolts, machinery parts, heavy equipments, now wants to make CAD software, computer-aided design software, similar to CAD, similar to AutoCAD, Autodesk, or things like that. So what are the decisions that they need to make, and how the boardroom things happens, and how of a strategic decision it is going to take place. So let's get into it. So the revenue decline from 911 million to 757 million. And there was a big reason behind it. There was a storm, that was Katrina, that had hit, and within a span of like 6 years, the revenue took a hit. And in the startup world, it's a big thing. Because what happened in that between 1998 to 2004, if you know, like that is dot-com crash. So dot-com bubble crash, every major tech company that ended with a dot-com or things like that, even Amazon took a massive hit. So most tech companies took a massive hit at that time. So a dot-com crash had happened during that phase. And every tech company or everything that were going on had taken that type of hit. And it happens like every 1 to 2 decades, it happens. It happens similarly during after the COVID of crypto crash. Like there was a huge boom. There was a huge boom of in 2020 market crypto. So in the 2020 market, there was a huge boom in the crypto world. So there were a lot of coins. There were a lot of coins like BTC, XRP. Those were the famous one. But at the same time, a new fund had emerged that was NFT, non-fungible token. It was quite popular. There were a marketplace like OpenSea, MetaMask, and things like that, where you buy, sell, trade NFT. It was a boom. Like this market was like growing like crazy at an exponential rate at that time. But and after that, like once there were free money, the US government was printing money, and people had enough cash to invest in such assets. So that market was growing. At the same time, it crashed. And now a lot of them are not even there. So there are a couple of crypto projects from like authentic creators like VFriends and from Gary Vaynerchuk and things like that. But that market had taken a big hit. So it happens like once or twice a decade, like the dot-com crash, then the crypto crash. Now it's again the BTC and all are rising after the Trump administration is there in place and things like that. So what happens is that they were facing those challenges after the dot-com crash. Because see, from a 900 million to 757 million, it's a huge dip on the business. And what would you do? Imagine yourself as the position of a CFO or a CXO of the company. What would you do if you face with such scenario? And key innovation was artificial workforce. So since the AI boom is coming right now, there were a lot of AI softwares. There were a lot of softwares that were making building, and at the same time, they were not able to catch up with that race. Because in the 1998 to 2000 phase, there were a huge software boom. The internet penetration had taken place in the 1995. So it was there, but it was more like a kid's toy, similar to Facebook in early 2004-5. Internet was there, but it was like industrial adaptation was taking place after that, after like 1997, when Amazon and things like that had released in late 1996 and 1997. And after that was like a physical thing that was like hurricane. You see the relevance, like COVID was a disaster, a similar hurricane, Katrina, not the Katrina cave, but rather the hurricane Katrina, and the stock had dropped 18% to $22.15. So it had like taken a dip, like nose dip. What do you call a nose dip? So in the stock market, that there are like bear market and the bull market. If you have seen like Wolf of Wall Street or Scam 1992, things like that. So stock market had taken a like the share price had taken a dip. Now, the problem, the dividend policy. So, a public limited company or like a private limited company, so they need to give out dividend. And dividend is like more like you have invested $100. If the company is doing well, they're gonna give you like $5 or $10 as dividend. That yeah, you have bought our share. It's like more like a profit. If they're making $100, they're giving you dividend. So, and what happens is like when a company gives out dividend, it gives some indicator to the market that yeah, this company is performing well. So more people tries to buy their share, and then the share price increases. And when the share price increases, the overall company valuation increases. So giving dividend gives a signal. At the same time, not giving dividend gives another signal that the company might be struggling. And what happens is like most of the people doesn't have that much of a financial understanding. They react or panic with what the people are saying. They don't look into the financial statement. Same happens like for Bangladesh stock market. Same happens for New York stock market. Majority of the people, majority of the non-institutional investor, like understand the market pulse. If everyone is like selling that, then the stock price decreases. So it's a very important decision for the board member and the CFO, like chief financial officer. So what dividend policy they need to make to the board? Like if they give out too much dividend, they will be running out of cash. They will not have money to run the business. So imagine this. A $900 million company can be worthless within a week because if the people start selling the share, their share price is going to go down and the company is going to get worthless. So what dividend policy and the board? Board is important because like when a small business there might be 2-3 people running it, but when it's a big company like a $1 billion company, there are like a board member which consists of VCs, investor, CXO, and other partners. So they are like very important component of any like company and any of the board member. So they make a lot of the decisions that what needs to be done. So, and the board, like the board have the voting rights. They can vote where, like the decision they need to take. So, if you are a small business or if you are an SME, you might not have a board, but it's always good to have people as an advisor. So, you can have your own mentors. So this is not just a business case. I'm trying to decode or trying to relate how you can use this business case to implement things in your own business, in your own ventures, so that you can make better decisions. Because without mentors, without a board of advisors, you are bound to make wrong decisions. Because once you are on the driving seat, you have a lot of data. You are like more like a firefighter. Like you are putting out this fire, you are putting out that fire. Cases like this, business cases like this, helps you understand how a big company makes decisions, how a big company makes their strategy that can help them win on the battle, win the market share and things like that. So you need to have board of advisor. It can be your friend's dad, it can be your competitors, senior employee, it can be your friends, it can be your teachers, and university professors. They're excellent source of mentor. So if you're starting out, they're the best one. University professors, they have the link and all, and even other industry experts. So you can have them as your board of advisor. You don't really need to pay them, but at the same time, you can have some sort of a mentorship kind of relation with them. They're going to be your board of advisor when you are starting out, and they're going to help you make important decisions like this when your business is on a growing stage from a startup to a next phase. So coming here, the CFO must recommend dividend policy to the board. So dividend policy is like how much of a dividend you want to pay out to the investor who are having our shares. So this policy, as I said before, is going to give a message and an indication to the market that what's going to happen. So, and it's very vital and very important to make sure that you don't give a wrong signal to the market. It can crash the company. Your company might be an excellent, might be making the next AI LLM venture, might have that text to video, or might have that newest LLM feature, AI feature that can change the entire industry. But one bad decision in the finance and you are crushed. So key challenges. What are the key challenges that a big company faces? Let's deep dive into it, because you need to have a very solid problem statement. In this business case, I'm decoding what are the problem statement you might be having write them down in your own business scenario, and then try to solve it. So key challenges is balancing growth. So because when an investor puts their money, they want a 10x, 15x, 100x return because they want a growing company. 15% annual target with shareholder expectation because here the shareholders are the VC partners and things like that. So they need to balance the growth, that what type of growth they're expecting. So when you have to balance the growth, at the same time have a 15% growth rate and your company is like going down, what would you do? Managing cash after 154 million restructuring cost. So they were having some restructuring in the company because all be coming down that they were changing their brand positioning because since they were in the nuts and bolt business, now they want to do in another business of a software. So you might be having a similar one. Like you might be in another business, you had another mom and pop shop or kind of business. Now you want to venture into another business. So there are some restructuring costs. You need to hire resources, you need to hire talents, human resources, infrastructure, cloud technology, because right now if you want to give a software or tech company, AWS is going to take your bills up. Like if it goes wrong, if you don't have the right DevOps resources, AWS bill alone can be 100K in a month. You might end up burning. So that's like a cloud technology and things like that. Right now, this kind of thing in today's world is required. Because if you want to deploy an LLM, large language model on the cloud, and make your own open AI, it's going to cost this much. Like even like one day. Because there is a saying, like Sam Altman of OpenAI, that people by saying thank you and please is causing them millions of dollars because there the chat GPT is generating tokens. Sam Altman had to post a tweet that the Ghibli image that was like very trending, that their developers, their entire server were like going nuts. People were printing so much images. So a feature like that is enough to go viral, but at the same time, it can cost your business as well. So there are certain things, risk and reward ratio, that needs to be calculated for managing the cost of the business. And addressing the stock price decline. After the hurricane, uh, consider this hurricane challenge, Katrina, as a common problem, that any problem that your business might face. Because this is a Katrina was a problem that had allowed for the stock price to crash. It can be any external problem. You have to do SWOT analysis for your business. So I'll be going to SWOT analysis. But this is a very excellent source for you to understand the problem, that what kind of problem that your business is facing. Because you need to have the problem statement. The problem statement needs to be very clear, that what are the problem that you are facing in your business, in your current scenario. And SWOT analysis is an excellent tool for you to evaluate that what type of problem you are facing. And how do you build the SWOT analysis? It's pretty simple. In the left corner, you write the strength, you make the weakness, opportunity, and threat. So there are two parts of the SWOT analysis. Strength and weakness are the internal, and this is the external. Okay. So internal. So let's evaluate the problem statement in this uh, for this business. So the internal strength is like they are a legacy company from 1923. They had been in a business for over a decade. So like over 50 years of business. So they have like the name, the brand name in the industry. Imagine Microsoft launching a product tomorrow. They obviously have a brand name of like more than 2-3 decades. So it's bound to have that. They have that manpower. They have that reputation. It holds for something. So the weakness, like going deep into the strength, they are a like $900 million company. So they didn't build it from like overnight. So it took a while for them to build that. So something that goes up slowly it even takes a long time for them to go down. So, and then the weakness. The weakness was that they're entering into a new market, technology. That they're going into a new market. The technology is a big challenges, and they don't have that technology capacity. For example, you want to launch an AI LLM model for your e-commerce store. That if anyone comes, they can have a AI assistant feature that will recommend them what they